Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, New York has hit the ball back over the net. In this never-ending game of table tennis of our Second Amendment rights and freedoms, Letitia James has come out and asked the Second Appeals Court to really get in there and keep that law in place around concealed carry laws in New York, the ones that are completely unconstitutional, because it would clearly cause chaos just to rip out something unconstitutional like that. You cannot make this stuff up, and that is what we're going to talk about on this episode of the Bullet Points. There's a link in the description box below, and if you are new, we would love to have you smash that subscribe button because we need as many people in the fold as we can, and we'd love to have you in here, and thank you in advance for your consideration. But I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsor, Kamikoto Knives, and then we're going to get into this. I cannot wait to show you what the New York AG, Letitia James, is actually appealing to the court as a legitimate reason to come forward and keep that law in place. Now, the sponsor for this episode of Freedom is Kamikoto Knives. Now, of course, knives are a little outside of our realm, but every single 2A advocate needs to fuel their body, and to do that, you need the right tool in the kitchen, which is why I want to show you guys these things. These Kamikoto knives are legit. Right out of the box, check out not only the exquisite design and the nature, but look at the balance on that knife. I got a few things to tell you about them. I can't wait to hear what you guys think, and we're going to hit it in 1 second. The knives are made with a high-quality Japanese steel using traditional techniques. Each knife is individually inspected and comes with a lifetime guarantee. The knives come in a heavy-duty ashwood box, which makes them a great present. The knives are used by Michelin star chefs all over the world, so why shouldn't they fuel your freedom in your kitchen? Now, Kamikoto has several special offers going on right now and is offering my viewers an extra $50 off on any purchase with the discount code Langley. On top of their special offers, go to kamikoto.com/Langley to get your knife set and help support our channel. Alright, so as I alluded to in the intro, you cannot make this stuff up. Now, to give you a brief history, if you were not here for this whole thing, when the New York carry law that basically said, hey, you have to have just cause, got struck down by the Bruin decision, it took everything else with it. Well, in response and complete irritation, the New York legislature, Kathy Hochul, and Letitia James came out and said, well, we're going to pass new gun control laws. You can't carry a pistol anywhere legally because, you know what, we decided to. We're also going to make you submit your social media history. We're also going to make you subject to a good character requirement, which is very similar to the just cause requirement they had before. Well, unfortunately for them, their unconstitutional acts are being put under injunction. So now they have taken a move and they're asking the Second Circuit Appeals Court for a little bit of leeway to keep the laws in place, even though there's been an injunction on them. Check this out. Like I said, everything is always linked because the ball is now coming back over the court. Let's get it. New York State asked court to keep gun law in place during appeal. Now, this came out yesterday, mid-afternoon, okay? Letitia James. Woo, Letitia. New York State officials on Monday asked a federal appeals court to keep intact a state gun law while the official appeal a judge finding that key provisions of the statute violate the Second Amendment. So basically, hey, guys, could you please keep this law in place even though it is unconstitutional, it is an infringement on the Second Amendment rights, and it is a bit invasive upon personal liberties, but it would just cause so many problems if you undid it. So they're asking the Second Circuit Appeals Court to come down and say, hey, can you just keep it in place? After, on Thursday, an injunction was put in place by Sotheby in the New York court, which we covered. The filing by New York Attorney General Letitia James had been expected since last week. Of course it had, because they obviously weren't going to roll over and play dead on this. They're going to try their best. But listen to what they actually said. When a federal judge temporarily blocked key parts of the New York law that put in place new gun permitting requirements and sought to ban firearms from certain sensitive locations like Times Square. Now, they conveniently forgot to mention in the Hill article that there was also a social media requirement. There was a good character requirement. You basically couldn't go anywhere, which is like I mentioned in the intro, the whole point of the Bruin decision. I digress. But it was struck down, or at least it hadn't been struck down technically. It was actually put under an injunction. The ball is rolling, but they want to keep it in place. Here comes the quote. Quote, "The serious risk of irreparable harm to public safety and the possibility of regulatory chaos necessitates an immediate appeal," James told the New York-based U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. As the data confirm, more guns carried in more places by more people result in more crime, violence, and homicide. Show it and produce the data, because that is absolute bunk. But let's get past that gaslighting. Let's get to this first part. The serious risk of irreparable harm to public safety and the possibility of regulatory chaos necessitates an immediate appeal. So you pass an unconstitutional law, you put it into effect, then it becomes unconstitutional under an injunction, and now you're saying, well, we need to keep it in place because the chaos that would ensue from ripping out something that shouldn't have been in place would just be too great. So we need to continue infringing upon the rights of Americans, and New Yorkers in this case, because the chaos that could potentially ensue from undermining our undermining of the Second Amendment. This argument is so cyclical, it almost makes you dizzy. But let's keep going, because that's what passes for a legitimate argument. The move comes after U.S. District Judge Glenn Sotheby last Thursday temporarily blocked parts of a New York law known as the Concealed Carry Improvement Act. As I mentioned earlier in this video, that's all about the good cause, or the, excuse me, not the good cause, the good character requirement, and then the social media history for like 3 years. Oh, also, you can't carry it anywhere if you do get it. He struck down all of this stuff, but all they can say is Times Square. And here is the last piece where they throw in the end and they bury the lead. Specifically, the judge ruled that New York officials failed to legally justify gun restrictions in places of public transportation, Times Square, and entertainment venues such as theaters, stadiums, concerts, and bars. He also determined that some licensing requirements created by the new law, including a requirement that gun applicants disclose their social media activity, were unconstitutional. Don't you think that would have been a handy place, I don't know, a little further up in the article? Like maybe the first line? Can't do that. But they did put it in there, and that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next episode. I'm Braden. See you later.